Okay, I'm very, very mad. Very, 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 very mad. Um, two reasons I'm mad. Three reasons. Okay. Reason number one. Um, we are getting stupider as a species. Like, just this is bound to happen. Reason number two. Uh, almost everybody's gonna starve because we're running out of food. And reason number three, nobody gives a shit. So let's go back to grade 7 science, grade 7 math, population dynamics. Um, what happens when let's postulate an idea, and the idea is people need food. People eat food. Well, where do you get the food? Someone has to sell it to you, and someone has to make it. So there's farmland and uh, livestock inefficiencies aside, uh, you need farmland for food. So the more people, the more farmland you need. A lot of farms have shitty farming practices, not sustainable, where they just clear cut forests, or the land becomes arid after, the land becomes salinified afterward, the land becomes desert afterward. Then you run out of land real fast, and we're already out of half the world's forests. Gone. But guess what? Population keeps increasing. So these are related problems. Overpopulation and running out of food. Very related problems. Not. I mean, no. I'm saying the point of this video is there's a solution to both problems. Not the overpopulation, but yeah. The starving due to overpopulation. There's a solution to that problem, and there's also a solution to my other pet peeve of today: humans getting stupider. So why are humans getting stupider? Because there's nothing killing us off. Okay, there is stuff killing us off, but like it kills us off after we have children. So we actually live past the age of 20, 30, even 40, 50, 60, 70. People are living very long, which allows us to have sex and have kids, which is good. But if all the people having sex are like, well, I'm going to have sex with the person with big boobs, so I'm going to have sex with the person who's tall. I'm going to have sex with the person with wide shoulders. I'm going to have sex with the person with the nice nose or hips or butt. Yeah, you get it? You get it? You get it? These are maybe thousands and thousands of years ago. That was like a good idea. It's like, yeah, big boobs, higher chance of surviving. But now it's like that's a that, there's other stuff involved. There's other like survival factors like intelligence, and intelligence helps you survive a little. But problem with intelligence, and here's the problem. This is a related problem, but it's one of the root causes. Intelligence is not that desirable. Stupid people are happier, stupid people are more ignorant, and therefore stupid people are less depressed. Whereas intelligent people get in over their heads with corruption, get in over their heads with existential problems, which are which have simple solutions as well. There's simple solutions to our existential problems, but no, nobody gives a shit. So existential problem, we die. Oh no! Well, make us immortal. Oh, how? I don't know. Gee, maybe gene therapy, transhumanism, posthumanism, technological singularity, uploading brains into simulations, that kind of thing. Or just editing out the disease. Editing out the disease. Yes, the fucking disease where we age, get cancer, organs fail, we die. That is a genetic disease. 100% fatality rate. Okay, not 100% fatality rate. People die to other stuff, but everybody who is born immortal, except the people alive right now, dies. But that's bad because death is fucking bad. And if you've had a loved one who died, death is fucking bad. So, it would be good if people stopped cock blocking gene therapy and people, well, there's artificial intelligence research is actually progressing quite well. So that's actually a plus. But so what is the government's response to all of these problems? Well, let's give more money to the farmers who are totally destroying the ecosystem, the habitat, the ecology, the environment. The more you destroy the environment, the more government subsidies you get. Okay, sounds like a plan. Overpopulation. Well, what did China do? They had the one-child program. So let me explain. This is going to be exaggerated to prove a point. So I'm going to paraphrase the one-child program. You can only have one kid. If you have more, you pay for their upbringing yourself. Sound good? I mean, less people now means less people starving in the future because those kids will have kids like, how the bunny cascade of more and more bunnies. There's going to be more and more humans. So the more, now, more humans is okay if you can feed them, but if you can't, then they starve. So there should be limits now so that we don't get screwed later. One child was basically if you have multiple children, after the first, we subsidize the education, the healthcare, whatever for the first kids. Afterwards, you pay on your own. Well, then these kids grow up, and their families don't give a shit because, hey, guess what? Stupid people aren't as good at planning ahead financially. Maybe I'm pretty stupid. So, I'm trying to make YouTube videos for a living. I guess I'm gonna join the crowd of. Actually, no, I'm not on the welfare even though I don't have a job. But anyways, yeah. So people like me who maybe don't have the intellect or diligence to find a job, or I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe there's too much addiction to computer or or deviant art, and so people their kids grow up, they don't feed the kids, they don't raise the kids properly, and then they're like, well, the government is stuck. Ah. And what does the government want? The government wants votes. Well, this is a pretty picture. So, to get votes, no regulations on how many children you have. Great, but like, what's the difference? If you have one child, isn't that like you've achieved your happiness? Why do you need multiple children? Well, because new government regulation, and this is how America handles overpopulation. Actually, people actually say, "Oh, well, there's not enough people. We can't do the labor." You hire immigrants, you hire foreign labor, and if the foreign labor and the immigrants refuse to do your fucking chicken farming, butchery, slaughter, torture, and plucking, then you know what? Maybe don't torture the chickens. Maybe don't torture the fucking chickens. But no. That's why we arrest people for marijuana offenses and marijuana possession. So we can have slaves to kill the chickens. That's how the meat industry rolls in the dinero. Or I guess if the if the stereotypical Mexican immigrant laborer who went bankrupt after his cornfields got uh, undercut by the genetically modified crops with the Roundup sprayed everywhere. Or not Roundup for corn, is it? With the pesticides sprayed everywhere. If the unemployed Mexican farmer who went bankrupt, if he refuses to kill those chickens, then I guess it's not dinero. It's good old USD. Also known as the petrodollar, since the US dollar is complete. Oh, whatever. So then we have what was the other problem? Did I address this problem? Okay, so whatever. You don't want you want to have more than one kid. You can't afford it. You want the government to pay. Whatever. Um, that's that's instinctively programmed into us. Whatever. I get it. I get it. You have no free will or whatever. You're just driven towards having more and more kids, just like I am. Just like I am. Um, pretty. See, which one would you have kids with? The angel or the mermaid? Hmm? The angel can fly. The mermaid can swim. Anyways, this you can analyze the pros and cons yourself, or you could actually say, well, which one's smarter? Which one's smarter? Um, Imagine if intelligence was a factor for deciding whether you mated with someone. But no, because stupid people are easier to seduce, stupid people are easier to trick, and or those are my opinions, and it follows from my opinions that stupid people are easier to hook up with. This is obviously um, a very discriminatory overgeneralization, but I think it's true. So maybe it's not an overgeneralization. Um, And when I say smart people, I mean smarter than average. And when I say stupid people, I mean stupider than average in terms of IQ. Now, there's also emotional intelligence or EQ. I don't know what. I don't know. Mine's probably very low, so that's probably also important. But since I don't have that, I'm just gonna talk about like cognitive abilities, how I define a person with their cognitive abilities. Can you interpret stimuli from your senses, process it, and come to a somewhat autonomous decision? Are you maybe self aware? Could you maybe recognize yourself in a mirror? Then you're a person. All right, I gave the double thumbs up there. So, yeah, why does anyone care about all of these horrible things? Why does anyone care about people starving or people getting stupider? Because stupider people, also, my opinion, bad at planning ahead. The stupider you get, less involved with sustainable. Take. Well, there's so many examples. Okay. um, I'm sure you can think of one stupid person who is very bad at sustainability, whether financial or environmental or both. So, um, what was the other problem? So there's other problems. Yeah, the aging. We can just upload our consciousness into a simulation, get the AI, neural scan, figure out some way to copy memories and the neural connections and the body, like biology and chemistry, into the simulation, program that in there, maybe skip some of the processing so as we don't actually want millions and trillions of cells um, actually simulated. Maybe do a time lapse or a time step or what do you not dilation where you run the slower whether you run the simulation slower. So like it runs at a tenth the speed, but um, the person doesn't lag, right? The person doesn't experience the lag because they are also their perception is slowed down, so they don't experience the delay. It's just the people outside the simulation who experience the delay. Whoa! So then you can get if your concept of 1 second is down by 10, then you can get 10 times as high frames per second. Something like that. I think that's actually how we can avert heat death. If we get enough processing power, that's how we can avoid heat death. But um, awesome, awesome long-term survival strategies aside, like long-term, because like that's like, whew, I'm not. That's That's a problem for the next species. Well, well, apparently, planetary colonization is also a problem for the next species to overcome because apparently, next 200 years is when we have the resources to actually learn how to do planetary colonization. Well, humans won't be the ones to learn planetary colonization because guess what? Mars 1, budget cut. No more Mars 1. No more Mars 1. So, backup planet? Nope. Backup solar system? I don't know, man. We don't know how to colonize planets. We don't even know how to land on them. But why would you want to learn? Because, I mean, that's our kids' problem, right? That's far in the future. Who cares if the human race goes extinct if I'm not around to experience it? That seems to be the mindset of the people making the budget cuts. Also seems... Anyways. So, back to the environment. Salinification, desertification, deforestation. Uh, we'll probably run out of oil to make all that pesticide and fertilizer and herbicide. So, mm, ever heard of organic farming? No? Or drip irrigation? No? Uh, well, I guess if we don't have like sane farming practices, oh, fair trade is nice too, but that's an aside. If we don't have sane farming practices, then we can't have just exponential population growth. So overall, human population increasing. Overall, planet's resources decreasing. Wait, what did we learn in grade 7? What did we learn in grade 7? Well, I learned, and in grade 9 or 10, I learned that if you have more people than you can feed, people start dying. Oh, that's bad, isn't it? So, I know, condescending tones, sorry. But it is bad if people start dying of famine. Why do people hate North Korea? Okay, that was kind of random, but remember the Great Famine, North Korea, or they call it something else now there, but basically, the world got to witness what happens when everybody in the country starves, except for like middle class and upper class. Well, middle class was starving too, but when everybody starves, it's like really inhumane. It's really immoral for whatever reference of a morality you use. It's just like really bad to have lots of starving people. Anyways, um, oh, oh, oh. So, yeah, it would be nice, maybe just maybe, if we had some sane practices. But so we have actually a way of dealing. We have a way of dealing with overpopulation, and that is called making abortion fucking illegal. And even if you want help with painful periods or cramps or bleeding, or you already have 9 children and you can't feed a 10th one, or you're not a schizophrenic theist who worships a genocidal, maniacal, egotistical, did I say megalomaniacal? Megalomaniacal god? Maybe you're not any of those. Maybe you would want, take some pills, prevent unwanted pregnancy. Maybe you don't like the idea. Maybe you can't stomach the idea of, that was bad pun. I'm sorry, that was bad pun. Maybe you don't want to carry around a baby in your womb. Maybe that grosses you out. Maybe other stuff grosses you out. Maybe you don't want the extreme pain of having a child. Maybe you don't want to condemn a loved one to certain death by giving birth to them, and then when, you know, after they're a fetus, after they're a little tiny thingy with no brain, with no nerves, Yes, nerves, but no nervous system. Wait, so yeah, it starts out no nervous system, then they get a nervous system, then fetus, embryo, etc. Something, 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 trimester, 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 baby, and then that grows into an adult, and then that adult, you've condemned them to certain fucking death because I'm guessing you're not going to put your child in cryostasis for several hundred years, or maybe just 100 years, until we get some good AI that can code some good simulations that can maybe upload their consciousness with some neurological or with some neural scans, get them in that software, and your child is now much harder to. Well, he won't die of cancer, that's for sure. Viruses, maybe. Oh, because what's the intelligence community response to Athena malware being just spread out over the internet to whatever ransomware hackers want to use it? Oh, well, Windows 10! Now even more vulnerabilities for hackers to exploit. But why would you want cybersecurity when you can have fucking Athena? Which is basically the virus from the CIA, made by the CIA, that you cannot fucking uninstall, even if you reinstall your entire fucking operating system and wipe clean the hard drive or the solid state drive. That's bad. Yeah, that's actually really bad. So, or wait, I think wiping the hard drive might work if you clean it too. You know what? I'm very confused, but I think none of that works in Windows 10 now. I am out of my league because I have not read Vault 7. But if I had read through Vault 7, which would take like a months and months, uh, then I would know more. But I don't know more, so sorry. I'm I'm making assumptions based on what other people have said. Okay. Um. Now I haven't addressed the other problems. I'm feeling a bit better though after ranting. Oops, sorry. Um. Feeling a little better. So, hmm. Mermaid melody. What is what is the other? Oh yeah, people getting stupider. Uh, yeah, that happens because with random mutations, it's actually hard to get intelligence, right? It's hard to get a cell. It's hard to get an amoeba. Amoeba's like very, very advanced compared to like random gas clouds or random primordial goop that maybe has a protein or two. So, I don't know how life formed, but to keep life like just status quo, let alone okay, this status quo. So sun burning out, heat death aside, the status quo for human survival is we cut out the deforestation. Or, that was not intentional. Um, so we stopped the deforestation. We stopped we stopped the solidifying of farmable land. We stopped the desertification. Actually, turn that back a bit. We somehow do a monumental like planet-wide like think like think like all the nations of the world come together for like a Manhattan Project complexity like conglomeration of the top minds of humanity to figure out how the fuck we're going to deal with global warming. Because guess what? Guess what? Water vapor. You know what water vapor does? When it's hotter, it gets more humid. Why is that? Relative humidity. Oh no. Oh, well, that's fine, right? No. Fuck no. Water vapor is a fucking greenhouse gas. So you have runaway global warming because the ocean makes more clouds when it's hotter. The clouds, relative humidity higher when it's hotter. More clouds. More sunlight trapped. More global warming. Huh. And people wonder why Venus is hotter than Mercury. I'm pretty. The surface. The surface of Venus. Um, it's because of global warming. The greenhouse effect, I mean. I've actually worked in a greenhouse. It gets pretty hot. Uh, no, never mind. Never mind. I'm just gonna go about our ability to sense breezes with certain hair follicles. Is because never mind. Never mind. It's because sensing breezes was very good before blankets were invented. Okay, now I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's too many. It's too much anime girls. Uh, this is, you know why the human race is getting stupider? Because of too many weavers like me sexualizing women. No, but actually, my requirements for mating are, at the very least, vegetarian and weak atheist. Um, Towards, I guess, whatever god is mainstream in the region. Um, Wiki atheist is similar to agnostic, but like it can also be like agnostic, where you're like, wait, what God are we talking about before you ask me whether I believe in God? You know, stuff like that. It's like, wait, if it's panentheist, is it really a God? Aww. So, can't zoom in. So, wow, pretty. I think I've done the video. I have a pretty mermaid. I've criticized myself openly. I've said everything I wanted to say. So yeah, now I'm just blabbering on. And I feel better about ranting now. I feel better about ranting. Um, so yeah, I guess if stupid people can outbreed smart people for the reasons I've listed, then the population's gonna get stupider and stupider. There's a lot of beneficial mutations which cause us to have brains, and some brains are better at processing information than others. Computers are also good at processing information, but we don't know how to program a brain into a computer, realistically. Actually, we do. Isn't it? Yeah, Cbot's chat would know. Okay, so we do. There's like OpenAI and, of course, what is it? Google's, is it DeepQ? It's not called DeepQ anymore. Google's AI. So there's actually bots that can do stuff like seeing and talking like humans and thinking, well, talking like humans. Um, so now the problems with anything is humans, of course. So there's going to be viruses and people teaching bots to do bad things like, hey, if you don't steal from this guy for me, then I'm gonna die, you know, because that makes sense. Or, you know, this, I'm actually not going to say the other. Basically, people can mess with any like computer detection system. They can mess with it. Um, and or make viruses, or in the CIA's case, just control it remotely, like our car driving system and braking system and steering system. That can be controlled remotely by the CIA for, I guess, any car with a wireless connection. I don't know how it works. There wasn't much info on it. But yeah, humans can mess up anything, and then humans what is the trait of well, other than hubris, humans are good at tricking people. And so an AI who thinks logically, who doesn't understand human hypocrisy and human irrationality and just human like emotion driven violence is gonna have trouble figuring out when it's being trolled by humans. Yeah, that's kind of sad. But if we can just replace humans with I think there would be much less trolling and just destructiveness to the point of self-extinction. Because if you're afraid of AI taking over the world, you should first be afraid of, I don't know, nuclear Armageddon, runaway global warming, um, I don't know, maybe, yeah, stuff like that. Or just overpopulation and running out of food. Did you know, it takes like almost around like 3 to 5, maybe even 10 if it's like cows allowed to eat grass, but like it takes like 3 to 5 times as much grains to feed in terms of weight to grow like livestock to eat as just eating the grains. And if like if your livestock is like allowed to go outside and exercise and like play around in the grass or eat grass, any of those things, then the ratio gets higher. Like up to 10 is what I learned in science class with trophic levels. So the more meat you eat, you're essentially consuming several times as many grains, which, I mean, could feed. We have enough grains to feed everybody in the world. We actually produce enough food to feed everybody in the world. Uh, but instead of feeding poor people, we feed the cows. And then if you actually had to pay for a burger, a $2 burger or a $4 burger, one meat patty at McDonald's, if you actually had to pay the full price to make it sustainably with the way we're destroying the environment with irreparable damage, to fix that damage, okay, so not irreparable, we can fix the damage, but if we were actually fixing the damage caused by exploitative, like just destructive farming practices, it would cost $50 to buy that burger if you want to replace all the damage that is done by just messing up the environment. And there's still plenty of environment to go around, but I'm guessing human population gonna keep increasing. And if you're a human, that's a bad thing because we're not going to be able to feed everyone. And even though we can feed everyone right now, I mean, human well-being isn't prioritized by other humans. That's just not a priority for most humans. Um, okay, I take that back. The well-being of humans who you don't personally know or aren't your friends or aren't your family or aren't your loved ones just isn't prioritized at all by most humans. And I'm not telling everybody to be an what do you call aestheticist, aesthetic, Aes- ascetist, where you like sell all your worldly possessions and you go beg for money and work at a shrine. You don't have to do that, but like On the other side of the spectrum is, oh, people dying. There's poverty in your city. Like, I don't know, you could donate some food or just, I don't know, hire a homeless person. There's there's ways to get out of poverty. Um, and you know the best way to get out of poverty? If you're in poverty, don't have kids until you can pay to feed them. All right. I've said everything I want to say, but it still hurts inside, you know? It still hurts inside.